So reduce carbohydrates, refined ones like in cake and all, breads and all. Then you also have to reduce on your added sugar. I can't have tea without sugar. So, it's again difficult for people like me. You must sleep well. And that means very less sleep. And there are many more such natural ways of improving our memory. Let us see what Sir has to teach us today. I'm very excited and looking forward, just like all my colleagues here are. So, sir, over to you now. Please
Thank you so
guide
much,
us with
ma'am.
your wisdom. Over
Sure,
to you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, friends. Namaste, everyone. I'm happy to be here, and I want to thank ma'am for inviting me here and share this platform with you all. So we are going to talk about the 7 secrets of memory retention. And don't worry, it's nothing to do with cutting down sugar or cutting down carbs or nothing like that. We are talking about natural ways, natural things in which the natural ways in which our mind works, how our mind thinks, how it decides what to remember and decides what not to remember. Our mind is very funny. Okay, it knows what has to be remembered and what efforts need to be taken. At the same time, mind is also very lazy. It avoids thinking. It doesn't like to do extra activity. And I'm talking about the natural way. I'm not generalizing it that for everybody it will be like that. Some people would have trained their mind to do it that way, to think better, to memorize better. You can train it. But we are going to see about natural ways where you can apply some secrets to make sure you remember things that you want to remember. And not just for you to remember what you want to remember, I'm going to add a flavor of how you can use these techniques to teach your students in such a way that they remember what you want them to remember. So that you design your sessions in a manner that you ensure that the most important things are remembered by them. Okay, so let's begin. Yes, Paulo Coelho also said that. Right? So I'll just share my slides and then we'll begin. So, yeah. So 7 secrets of memory retention. Now this is brought to us by the person called Tony Busan. Tony Busan was the inventor of mind maps, and I had the honor of meeting him in 2011 when he had conducted a full-day workshop in Mumbai at JW Marriott. He has devised this graph called the most important graph in the world. And that talks about the basis for creative thinking, the basis for retention. And that graph, in fact, became later the foundation for mind mapping as well. This graph contains the secrets. There are 7 principles which apply to memory. You can use that to drive your business, drive your personal success, to drive the effectiveness of any interaction that you may have. And it helps you to understand the patterns of memory with a proven formula that will make your next presentation, your next teaching unforgettable. So let's jump into it. Yeah, everyone ready? So we are going to start.
We are ready.
Good, good. We are going to start with a quick activity. It is a thinking game. So the way we are going to do is I'm going to speak a few words. I'm going to speak around 30-35 words and I want you to remember them. Okay? Well, don't worry, it's okay even if you don't remember. I want you to just naturally remember them, naturally listen to them. Do not apply any memory technique, even if you may know any memory technique. Don't apply that. Just absorb the words. The purpose of this exercise is to see that without applying any technique or without applying any repetitive learning, how do we remember things? How much and how do we remember? Okay, so I will start the list of words. Friends, it goes without saying, don't write the words. Okay, just mentally note them. And when I ask you a few questions afterwards, then we will answer those questions. We'll see how we answer the questions. Fine? Are we all set? Shall I start the list of words? Okay. So first word is building, apartment, floor, tile, wall, glass, ceiling, roof, sky, sun, night, and of the, and of the, book, game, Amitabh Bachchan, and of the, jungle, lion, cheetah, orange, mango. Last few words: kitchen, knife, table, chair. Okay. So these were the words. Okay, and we are going to do, yeah, I'm going to explain the 7 secrets using this exercise throughout. So let me ask you all, do not write the words, do not type in the words, just answer. Do you remember the very first word that I said?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes,
Good.
sir.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes,
Oh.
sir.
Second last word, sorry, second word which I said.
Yes, sir.
After that.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Third word,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
fourth,
Yes.
Sir. Yes, sir.
okay. Fifth,
Yes, sir.
okay. The number of yeses are dropping now. Okay. Sixth, exactly which was the sixth word?
Yes.
Okay. Seventh word, okay. Now yes is almost like very, very few are coming now. Eighth word,
Yes, sir.
okay. Ninth,
Yes, sir.
oh, very good. Word number 10,
Yes, sir.
wow. Word 11, word 10, word 12. Now you see, in the beginning when I asked one first word, second word, third word, a lot of yeses were coming. Even in the chat box, everyone was saying yes. As we went further into it, the number of yeses have dropped. Do you remember the very last word that I said?
Yes.
Yes. Still, yeses are coming. I'll continue where I left off.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yes. So I was saying there is a this what this graph is showing is a correlation between the what happened in the learning interaction throughout the duration and how much of that we recall. So the first thing when I asked you that do you remember the very first word that you heard, and then the second word, third word, till I went on the 10th or 11th word, the responses of how much you remembered dropped. So this is a typical way that we remember. We do recall things which happen at the beginning, and we do recall certain things which happen at the end. But what happened in between, somewhere we lose track of it. Although we were very much present, we were very much listening, but still it's not that we were not attentive. We were fully attentive. But what happens is that we just naturally tend to recall what happened at the beginning and then what happened at the end. So these are the two effects out of the 7 secrets. The first one is called as the primacy effect, and second one is called as the recency effect. So we tend to remember more of what happened at the beginning and at the end. Now, my question to you is that how would you utilize this primacy and recency effect in your learning and in your teaching? Any thoughts? Last minute revision. Yes, yes, ma'am. Perfectly. You can close the session by doing a last minute revision where you integrate the learnings together, you summarize everything. Yes, teaching tables can be used. Making the intro interesting. Yeah, what you start off and what you end off. Both the parts can be made powerful. That people remember that. Yes, having a wonderful introduction, giving important concepts in the beginning, formula, yeah, recap before you start. Yes. So you can use all of that. Now, the thing is, either you use that, so make powerful use of these two effects. They are golden opportunities. Do not let them go in something routine that it's okay even if it's not that important. Don't put that over there. Put what is most important in that primacy and recency. Right? So that is how you use it. Now let's say, what are we talking about over here when we are having the time period from the time learning starts and learning ends? What kind of learning interactions are we talking? Here, the examples that you told me are with relevance to your lecture session, the period that starts and ends. So you have one primacy effect, one recency effect. But this primacy and recency effect applies to any learning interaction and the duration in which you are learning. It could be that you are reading a book and it can start from the time that you pick up the book and stop at the time that you put the book down. I'm talking about that learning interaction, not from the time that you start the book and end the book. So as many number of times that you pick up a book and put it down, those many learning interaction periods are there. So you have started, you've stopped, you've started, you've stopped, you've started, you've stopped. Right? So now, can you tell me how we can use something like this in our sessions, in our periods, during the lectures? Typically, what is the duration of your class? 40 minutes. Yes. 35 minutes. So now 35 minutes, 30 minutes is a good duration. But sometimes it can be elongated. Sometimes there are long classes also, like, it go on for 50 minutes, 1 hour. And then we are having only one primacy effect and one recency effect. The number of primacy effect and recency effects are only one each within a learning interaction, within a learning period. But the way you can maximize that is by breaking the learning interactions between 2-3 periods in between. So I'm not saying that give a chutti, give a break in between, but yes, you can break the flow. For example, if you're teaching a topic and let's say you have a 40-minute period and you're teaching in that, you have the beginning primacy effect and you have the end recency effect. But in the middle, if you do something which is different, let's say just take another break or just say, okay, now we are going to discuss with your partner what you learned. And this is something which I do even as a faculty. On one hand, we tell students don't talk and listen. But then during my sessions, I encourage people to take short 2 to 5 minute breaks where they discuss their learning with each other. Now that serves as a break. Because that serves as a break, what happened immediately before that gives me an additional recency effect. And what can happen immediately after that can give me another primacy effect. Because now technically what I've done is that combined session I've broken up into 2 parts. I've made that one learning interaction into 2 learning interactions. And as many breaks I take, those many learning interactions, those many periods happen, so those many primacy, recency effects can be doubled. Now, only doubling it is not enough. Utilizing it by putting in powerful points, important points, recaps, keywords, all that can be added in those primacy and recency effects. Starting with a bang, having a powerful introduction. So what And that's also related to the other effects. So when you put it all together, I'll tell you how to further enhance the primacy and recency effects by including secrets from the other effects. But this is one way that you can give multiple, you can give breaks and do it. So I'm a visiting faculty with Jamnalal Bajaj, and there the lectures are 3 hours. Now 3 hour lectures means technically there is only one primacy and one recency. So even if I give one break in between, at least I'll create two. If I give two breaks in between, I will have three. 3 into 2, 6 primacies and recencies all put together, which we can utilize effectively. So in my college sessions, in the 3 hours when I give a break in between, the middle break, that is such that okay, people can go out, take a bio break, and come back. So that also is a good point. But otherwise, in between, I don't give a bio break every time. So otherwise, I just have okay, now discuss with your partner or write down whatever you understood from what happened right now. So that time I'm quiet, and people will just write down in their own words whatever they understood. Even that is a good break. So that is how you make use of the primacy and recency effect. Okay, yeah. So teaching in smaller chunks with meaningful breaks. We often tell students, or even when we are learning, we say, okay, I have to sit and study for 2 hours, 3 hours at a stretch. Well, a better way is to study for half an hour, take a break for 5 minutes, sit again for half an hour, take a break for 5 minutes, and do something else in the break. Something else means something that is not directly related to the topic. That will make it even more powerful. Because then you are actually cutting off. There is no continuation. If you're able to do that, that's even better. So there is a technique based on this. I'll type it in the chat box. It is called as a Pomodoro technique. I think some of you may have heard of it. Pomodoro technique is having focused bouts of learning or focused bouts of work, which typically follows the route of 25 minutes focused study, 5-minute break, 25 minute study, 5-minute break, 25, 5, 25, 5. So like that, there are 4 cycles. So typically you take 2 hours. So instead of studying at the stretch for 2 hours, you take 5-minute breaks after every 25 minutes. So one is that it enhances the number of primacies and recency effects. Secondly, it trains your mind to think that okay, it's just this 25 minutes that I have to be focused. Any kind of distractions that come in, I will have that 5 minutes to address it. So all our notifications and distractions on the phone, on the screen that we have, our mind starts getting trained that okay, there is going to be a break after this. We are not going to miss out anything. That fear of missing out is not there because now in this 25 minutes, I'm going to do what I need to do so that later I can shift to that. Okay, so are we clear on these 2 secrets? Any thoughts, any questions so far?
No, sir, it is all clear and we are enjoying.
Wonderful.
And those who are with me can also just please show through a thumbs up or write something. We are all with you, sir, and we are enjoying it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Great, lovely, thank you. Okay, now coming back to the list of words. Wow, thank you, everybody. That's encouraging. Coming back to the list of words that I mentioned, I asked you beginning, ending, you told me how much you remember. Now, there was one particular word somewhere in the middle, which I'm sure you all remember. But there was something else which I said only once. And of the is something that I repeated, that I'll come to. Yes, Amitabh Bachchan. Amitabh Bachchan. Now you all remember Amitabh Bachchan. Don't wait. Now don't start writing the word. I'm talking only about Amitabh Bachchan. Okay. Amitabh Bachchan is something that you remember, even though that word was somewhere in the middle. Now there is no primacy, there is no recency. Now, that is somewhere, not agreeing with this graph. It is saying that there is something that can happen in the middle that can actually stand out and can make you remember it. What was about Amitabh Bachchan that made that word special? Yeah, ma'am. It is strange, unrelated word. Yeah, out of everything, it was quite unrelated. Okay. No, don't write other words. I'm talking only about Amitabh Bachchan. Do not write any other word right now. I'm talking only about the word Amitabh Bachchan. What? It was unrelated to other words. That way, if you see, even the word book and game were unrelated to other words. There were some words that were related. We'll talk about that later. But there were certain other words also which were unrelated. So, what was unique about Amitabh? Yeah, interest, personality, different. Tell me one thing. What happened when I said the word Amitabh Bachchan? What happened in your mind when I said the word Amitabh Bachchan?
May I say, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So I think it was along with the words like table, chair, kitchen, knife. No, it was with the game, book and game.
Don't read any other words right now. There is still
No,
more
no. So
questions.
I'm saying how I remembered. So
Yeah.
book, game, and Amitabh Bachchan. So I just imagined Amitabh Bachchan holding a notebook and playing a board game on the notebook.
Lovely, wonderful. Great, thank you. Yeah. So some people remember from Kaun Banega Crorepati. Some people saw his face, the way he interacts, living being. Yeah, out of all the others, he was a living being, famous personality. So, friends, this is what happened. When I said Amitabh Bachchan, somewhere an image popped up. For some of you, it could have been an image. For some of you, it could be his voice, his baritone voice, as if he's saying that "Welcome to KBC," or him is talking, right? Or the way he interacts, how his behavior is, his personality. Wow. So somewhere our senses got triggered. Yeah, voice or image or feeling. So anything that triggers the five senses, that triggers our imagination. And that is what stands out from the rest. So somewhere you were able to relate. Yeah, how he carries himself, all of that showed up. That immediately, in a fraction of a second before I moved to the next word, the word Amitabh Bachchan triggered all these emotions in you, all these feelings in you, all these visuals or voice, or it could be one or many of these, whatever. But whatever you are able to connect with your senses, that is something that triggers your imagination, that stands out from the rest. This effect of imagination is also called as the von Ristoff effect, which is named behind the psychologist, a scientist called von Ristoff, who said that whatever is outstanding will stand out. A very simple statement, but something that is unique will be remembered. It's like, if I'm asking you to think of like right now what ma'am said, when the other words were together, she correlated seeing them together. She correlated Amitabh Bachchan holding a book and playing a game. So that also helped to create a linkage. That actually is the next effect that I'm going to talk about, which is association. Now, before I move to that, tell me, how can you make use of this effect of imagination to remember things and to help your students remember things? Yes, diagrams. What else? Visualize. Yeah. Trigger that association, that imagination. Trigger your imagination. Let's say you are reading a book. Start imagining what's happening. Yeah, remember story character. Attach some character to it. Stories are very powerful because stories work on the power of imagination. You may be teaching a very dry subject, but still, if you use stories, you can still use the imagination. Yeah, link word games like elements responsible for rain, Yes, very good. Give them words and ask them to make something out of it. Yeah. You can give them jumbled words and tell them to correct it to spell the right way it should be. Turn into a story. Yeah. So narration of story to plan experiments. Yes. Create fictitious characters. And if you're teaching history, use the historical characters. If you're teaching geography, show a story about how a person went into different geographical areas and what happened. What would happen if you go there? Imagine what if you explain geography this way, that you went to different areas. I'm just taking a simple example, like you went to the tundra region and this happened and you were feeling cold and you met the Eskimo over there, and what all happened. And then when you came to the tropical region, what happened? How about weaving it into a story instead of showing a table? Okay, tundra का properties ये है, tropical का properties ये है, equator पे ये होता है. That it becomes too dry. Apply some kind of imaginative things. Create characters that okay, this person from tundra and this person from tropical, they met. They were having coffee together and they were talking how things are over there, and how this person's wife is treating him, and how this person's husband is treating her, and all of the create characters. Why do we love authors like Paulo Coelho? Because he uses stories, he uses fables to weave in the message.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
sir. Sir,
Yeah.
I just
Yes, sir.
wanted you to know that somewhere your voice drops in between.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes the link is broken, though I think we are able to follow what you are saying and we are completely
Okay.
engrossed in it. But I just
Okay.
wanted you to know if there is anything
Okay.
from your end that you would like to adjust. The voice
Sure.
sometimes
Sure.
drops.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you. Sir, kindly unmute yourself. Sir, please unmute
Okay.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. I've changed the mic. Let's see if this works and let me know. Okay, so we can use characters. You can create weave-in stories to explain the same thing. Now, the other thing that we remembered, like some of you mentioned from the words that I said, you remembered the words and, of, the. Now, what was different about that made you remember it? In fact, there was nothing outstanding in that. They were very plain, simple words. They don't make sense together. Okay. Okay. No object, no shape. Yeah, what do you can't even imagine, but still you remember. How come you remember that? Non-routine. Yeah, okay. They were very, very routine. They were unusual, odd man out, unexpected. Yes, they were unexpected. I'm telling a set of objects, common common nouns, and then I say and, of, the. Tell me what happened in your mind when I first said and, of, the. Yes, repeat it again. Right, Rainy. You became more conscious. क्या ये क्या हो गया? ये कौन सा word है? There were language aspects. Yeah, there is a preposition, conjunction. Curiosity came up. What is this? I'm sure some of you even thought, did I hear it right? Did I hear and, or was it and? Because I'm saying objects. Suddenly I'm saying and, then I said of. What? Right? And then what happened when I repeated it? I had not repeated any words before, and this set of words I repeated again. What happened? What happened in your mind? There must be something to it. Either I'm making a mistake or I'm playing a prank on you. Okay. That is the kind of thought may have come, or maybe I'm saying it because it's very important that I want you to note. So all these thoughts that get triggered, we are associating something or the other that we know to something which is coming up as unknown. Plus, there was a power of repetition, which made you remember these words. This is what kept repeating. So that's why it's coming up multiple times. And they came up between the graph, between the flow. So that is the effect of association or repetition. Whatever we repeat, we tend to remember more. But only repetition is not enough. Only ratta marne ka rote learning is not enough. When you repeat, you associate with something. So like and of the, you associate it with maybe it's something important, maybe it's some mistake, maybe it's a prank I'm playing. Now those were the associations that happened in a brief moment in your mind. And you linked it. Oh, this is what it is. So together, imagination and association, especially when you use it together, becomes even more powerful. So when you make stories and when you associate ideas into the story, when you have more imagination, maybe you draw the story, you do a doodle sketching. You don't need to be an artist to draw, to doodle. The kind of doodling that we do, that we used to do on the last page of our notebook when we were students. Even that quality of doodling is fine, but anything that helps you to imagine and associate. Yes, analogies. Analogies are very powerful. Analogies, metaphors, stories. They trigger both, in fact, imagination as well as association. And the power of this as a memory technique. So as ma'am said, I'm also a memory champion and now an arbiter in memory championships. What we use it in the memory technique is to use a known concept to associate an unknown concept. And that's how we remember it better. What happens typically in memory techniques, in memory championships, is that the participants are required to recall 200 words in the same order with the correct spelling. That is just one of the rounds. Okay, a sheet of paper is given with 200 words, that is taken away, blank sheet is given, they have to reproduce the 200 words. Not only words, and their next another round is where they are given a set of 1000 random digits. And they have to reproduce the same random digits in that same order in which they were in the earlier sheet. They are given a pack of cards, a shuffled pack of cards, and they have to go through it, remember it, put it aside, take a brand new pack of cards and put it in the same order as the earlier pack of cards was. These are just some of the rounds. It's really mind-blowing, yes. And let me tell you one important secret. What people use in the memory championship, the techniques that they use are nowhere linked to repetition or rote learning. They will look at it once and they will remember. And I have used it, so I know it. That's how I got the 13th rank. Which means that a technique is not based on mugging up. The technique is based on the power of imagination and association, linking something unknown and linking something known and letting that unknown trigger letting the known trigger the unknown so that you can remember it. They are all powerful, wild, weird, wacky stories that you create in your own head. You don't have to write down the stories. You have to write down the things that you are asked to remember. You have to just recall that.
So may I ask you something? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Please. Yeah, ma'am.
So this was very interesting and unbelievable. The kind of activities that you told us, what happens in the memory championships, it's really difficult to believe that people are able to do that. So do you even demonstrate? I mean, if you come to our school ever, would it be possible for you to demonstrate it? Because that might attract the children towards memory techniques and, they will be surprised to see something like this.
Yeah. I conduct memory workshops. And
Great.
one correction, I don't demonstrate.
Okay.
I make you do it.
That's what a
So,
real guru does. Thank you, sir.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
wanted to add something to what you said about repetition. This is one
yeah,
observation which, and also it is mentioned so many times in different books. So I have come across some people in my life who would remember my name right from the first time they see me. Or, they would ask about my daughter, like, how is Hridaya doing? How is Hridaya's health now? Hridaya is in which class? So I sometimes even get surprised that I have hardly met, I hardly know them, and they even remember my daughter's name. And I think those people become special. They
yeah,
create that curiosity in to know them better, and it gives you a feeling that they give importance to you. So it's
very
important for teachers also, right from the first day, to know a new child in the class, call everybody
yeah,
more often by name. So I understand how they remember my daughter's name, because they keep consciously using the name. They would keep
uh,
saying,
yeah,
though
yeah,
I'm in front of them, they will still say, how are you, Jaya? So, Jaya, what
correct.
is going on? So, Jaya, how was it yesterday? They need not say Jaya every time, but they still
Yeah,
do it. So, I later realized when I read a lot that this is a technique to remember. When you keep repeating
exactly.
it, you remember the
Yeah,
name, and it
yes,
creates your bonding very strong. So, it's important for
exactly.
relationships. Thank you.
Yes, very true. Welcome. And in fact, in the memory championship, there is a round for names and faces also. So there are pictures which are given with their names, pictures of people around I think 70 to 100 photos of um, people with their names are given,
Wow.
and
I
then
need to attend that training.
yeah, sure, and then a blank sheet is given, blank as in only with the photo, and you have to write down the names. And the names are like, the photo could be a European person, the first name may be Indian, the last name may be Chinese, and you have to remember that with the right spelling. So in those techniques also, in names and faces also, we teach the techniques which are okay, as if you're having a conversation with the person, and exactly what Jaya ma'am said. As if you're talking to them using their name, repeating their names and understanding them better. And there are techniques of remembering names and faces. Which so basically now I teach these techniques from the point of view of normal day-to-day interactions. How do you remember things that you need to remember? But the principles are same. You don't have to mug it up. You have to imagination and association is what you use. Okay. So mind maps. How many of you are aware of mind maps? How many of you use mind maps? Wonderful. So mind mapping uses the power of imagination and association. Mind maps, flow charts, concept mapping, they are all different names of the visual tools. The way mind maps work is that it creates one link to the other. There are branches and sub branches, and so there is a lot of use of imagination association over there. Yes, web map, spidey map, and different words given to it. And Tony Busan was the one who introduced that. Based on this seven secrets itself, we've just done three out of that. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, I'll ask some more questions regarding the words now. Did I say the word apartment? Type in yes or no. Okay. Did I say the word floor? Did I say the word tile? Did I say the word wall? Did I say the word window? Okay. Very smart. Good. Yeah, I didn't say the word window. Um, so what did I say? Which word I said? Glass. Yes, I said wall, glass, ceiling. Good. Roof. Yeah. Now, in most of the situations, most of the classes when I ask, okay, stop. In most of the classes when I ask this question, people say yes to window. They think I said window. Now, I did not say window, but still, a lot of people think I said window. Now, how does that happen? Yes, confusing glass with window. What happens is that you saw initially what was happening. There were a set of words which were kind of linked. So there is a building, in that there is apartment, floor, tile, wall. It appears like, okay, a mechanism of a house is now coming up. So your mind knows, your mind starts knowing. Okay, and the moment your mind starts saying, oh, I know what's going to come up, gone. The mind starts making assumptions. And that is where, when I do this for larger audiences and even other places, I see that people think that, yeah, I said windows. That is the effect of understanding and misunderstanding. See, it is very natural that you may forget what I said. Okay, something that happened you can forget. But how can you remember something that I did not say? That happens. Like, to give you a simple example, um, you may be having a discussion with a friend, you're meeting after a long time, and you say, remember last time we met, this happened, and I said this, and you said this, and he says, yeah, I said this, then you said this, and you're just recalling that. And somewhere in the middle, you say, your friend says, and then you said that. And you said, no, I never said that. Now, how come your friend remembers something that was not said? That is the power of false memory. Now, our mind has the ability to create false memories as well. And that simply happens because somewhere in a learning interaction, when we are learning something, and the learning interaction could be even be a discussion, a conversation, we start assuming that the person, I know what this is going to happen next. Even if we are reading, we know, I know uske baad kya aane wala hai. And there our mind goes on a wandering spree and it comes back afterwards. When it comes back, it doesn't register what was there. It registers what it thinks it was there. Are you getting this? When it goes on a wandering spree, maybe daydreaming, when the lecture is on, when you're reading, when it comes back, it assumes कि हाँ, I know क्या बोला होगा पता है. और जो actually बोला था, पढ़ा था, वो कुछ और ही होगा. And that is how our mind creates false memories and assumptions, exactly. Because it wanders, and it's easy for the mind to wander. You cannot stop this from happening. Whether it's your own mind or whether it's your students' minds, your mind and their mind is going to wander. It's nothing to do with their age. I'm sure you may also be experiencing this in your own life, irrespective of whatever age you are. So now, how to tackle this? How to tackle this? False memory is bad. How to tackle? You don't want people to remember false things. You don't want people to remember that Shivaji fought with Akbar. Okay. So that's a false memory. अगर कुछ ऐसा हुआ भी तो. So how do you...
Sir, would you please repeat what you said towards the end? I just maybe zoned out for the last 1 minute.
Exactly. That is what you do.
And that is when we create false memory.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. So I said that Shivaji did not fight with Akbar. You don't want people to remember that. And our mind does zone out. So when you are at a learning end, when you are learning, ask questions. Ask questions to confirm your learning, especially when you know that you have zoned out. Oh, what did you say? You can even recap your own understanding. Repeat the confirmation to confirm. Okay, this is what I understood, right? No? Now that is when you are mature enough to understand that this can happen in your mind and you can zone out at whatever age you are. What will you do with children? What do you do with children? What do you do with your students? Yes, ask questions. Now, you will realize that whatever I'm teaching, I'm using it in this very presentation. I am doing my best to ensure that you don't zone out by asking you questions. Is that right? So even if you're talking to students, keep asking questions. Do you get it? Randomly pick up someone. Okay, what did I just say? Can you repeat? And this is not from the point of view of reprimanding someone. Just saying, okay, now friends, you have heard me saying it. Let's hear from so and so say it. So you can ask multiple students to recap what was said at different points of time. So everyone is then alert. They cannot afford to zone out because पता नहीं कब teacher मुझे उठाड़े और पूछे कि बताओ क्या हुआ. So that keeps them on their toes. They keeps them engaged. Yes. And in fact, when you integrate, when you use a lot of imagination, association, it will be difficult to let them zone out. Like this particular graph which I'm showing you, I could have shown you 7 bullet points. And ho gaya. I would have spoken the same thing I'm speaking and I could have shown you 7 bullet points. But I'm showing you in the form of a graph because I'm using imagination, association, I'm linking everything together. I use the primacy effect by starting with that activity. So we are using that throughout. Right? And recency effect also, I'll make a good use of it. You'll see that. Okay, did I use the word lion? Did I use the word tiger? Did I use the word cheetah? Did I use the word mango? Did I use the word orange? Did I use the word apple? Wow, very good. Thank you. So good. You are really an exceptional population. You know exactly what I said, what I didn't say. But I get that some people say that I used the word tiger and apple. I didn't say tiger and apple. I said lion, cheetah. I said mango, oranges. But what happens is, again, going by the understanding and misunderstanding, there is another part which our mind plays. The mind wants to complete things. If I said jungle, and jungle में अगर lion है, cheetah है, तो mind will say that tiger भी होगा. And that is the effect of meaning. That is the next one. The mind likes to give meaning. Our mind is a meaning making machine. There was a social experiment done somewhere in US where on a public wall, the researchers just drew some incomplete geometrical shapes. मतलब triangle draw किया उसको complete नहीं किया, थोड़ा section open रखा. Circle draw किया, one arch was open. Like that, some geometrical shapes were put up. Now, within 24 hours, when they came back to the wall, they saw that somebody in the public had completed that. Our mind does not like to see something incomplete. It has this element of curiosity. It wants to complete whatever is there. So now this thing is something that works very well. And this is something that you have to make a conscious effort as an educator to utilize it with your students. What happens is, the best use of this is made by TV serials. Ekta Kapoor. Or for that matter today, any web series you pick up. How does the episode close? What happens at the end of the episode?
Suspense is created.
Suspense is created. There is a twist, there is a
Also,
suspense.
if we can call it as a cliffhanger, they leave us at a cliffhanger.
Yes, it leaves it with a cliffhanger. Now you are forced to do a binge watching. You think that, okay, now I'll stop at this episode. But now because of the cliffhanger, you start the other episode. Now that episode also ends with cliffhanger, you start the next episode. That keeps you glued. Our mind wants to complete things. It can't digest something which is incomplete. It has that curiosity. Yeah, even a trailer. Trailer is also a suspense, right? Okay, what next? You want to see the movie now. And that is how the entertainment industry makes its bucks. Every episode is kept open. So you want to see the next one. Now, can we apply this in learning and teaching? First, let's talk about learning. When you are reading something, let's say you have to professionally upgrade yourself, you are reading a book. Now, what happens when you're reading a book? Generally, where do we put the book down? Logical ends. We figure out logical stops. And we say, okay, now this chapter is over. Now, next chapter I'll start next time. How about shifting that? How about starting the next chapter, completing a half page or so, and then stopping over there? Now
So
you're
what you're saying actually is just the opposite of what the teachers usually prefer doing. And
exactly.
I'm saying this as a teacher. I'm guilty of thinking the same way. What we say is, period at least has to be of 40 minutes, or this is how it has to be. Otherwise, a concept is left in the middle. Or, I
Yeah,
extended the class because I did not want the concept to be left in the middle. And what you're
yeah,
saying is exactly the opposite, that we need
correct.
not make it a full circle, commit a full
Yeah,
circle. Let's not
yeah,
complete it so that it leaves
yeah,
curiosity. I think that's the
yeah.
biggest takeaway till now for me. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. So leave it incomplete. I know we have that urge as an educator also. We want to complete the topic. Arre, time nahi ho, have to complete the topic. In fact, deliberately don't complete the topic. In fact, start the new topic. You may complete it, fine, complete it, but before you end, start the next one. For example, in if you're teaching history, if you're talking about Shivaji, and you say, okay, we have understood what Shivaji did so far, and you say that, okay, you know what happened once? Shivaji went to meet Afzal Khan, and he was invited without any weapons, and Afzal Khan had a trap for him. What would you do in this situation? Next time we'll see how Shivaji came out of that trap, empty-handed. Now what will happen? Whatever topic you start, leave it open. Keep that cliffhanger at the end. So people are now glued on to more. History is still story you can weave it in, right? But the same thing could be even with science, with periodic tables. Okay, we have seen this. The properties of this is like that. Do you know there are other elements which have different properties? We'll talk about that next time. Exactly. Students will do more research. You know how often we give homework to the students? We say that, okay, so this topic is over. For the next one, I want you to read this one. How many of them actually read? But what if you leave it like this? We are going to see this. Now, even if you don't tell them to read about Afzal Khan and Shivaji episode, they will go out and find out and they will come prepared for it. It's not because you told them, because now it has triggered their own curiosity. They will find out more. So we've done about tundra region. There are some regions which are totally opposite of it. Can you imagine what will be happening there? We'll see more about that next time and give some starting to it. So you can blend it, all of this. And the last one, the last effect is the effect which can enhance the entire graph. It is called the effect of interest. Think about it yourself also. The subjects that you were interested in, you automatically remembered more and better of it. But the subjects that you were not interested in, kitna bhi padh lo, nahi yaad raha. Right? So what do? Create interest. How do you create interest? How do you create interest in something that you don't like? There are three ways to do it. One way is that create interest, or rather, one way is to criticize whatever you are learning, criticize whatever you are reading. Let's say you don't like history, criticize the hell out of history. How can this be possible? What kind of thought this person would have had to think like this? How did he do this? Why did Gandhiji do like this? Why did Shivaji do like this? He shouldn't have done that. He should have done that. So this is a kind of a negative way of creating interest because it creates a negative feeling when I have to criticize something. But still, that is one of the ways. So I want you to understand you can do it. Yeah.
If I can ask, so
Yeah.
debating would also fall in this debating,
What?
where you're looking at the two
Yes.
sides of the same thing.
Yes. Yes. Debating. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So there was a movie
Huh?
where Ritik Roshan and Aishwarya Rai, I'm forgetting the name, where euthanasia became an issue. You know,
Yeah.
he was sick, and it was a question because he wanted to, yeah, Guzarish. So he
Garish. Yeah.
wanted to die. He wanted
Yeah.
euthanasia. So you know,
Yeah.
when doing a debate on euthanasia, this would give them more curiosity to know about it, and they'll come up with their own thoughts also, whether they agree with the
Correct.
concept or they don't agree with
Correct.
the concept.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. So creating a debate, you can have a topic and then create two teams. And then now you have to speak for and against. Now, even if the topic is dry, boring, they have to talk about it. They have to criticize it or they have to appreciate it. That will create an interest. Another thing is that tell them that at the end of the program, there will be a quiz. End of the session, there will be a quiz. And I'm going to ask you some questions. You can have some small rewards as well for this quiz if you like. Or you can have a scoring system. So then the quiz continues. After every session, we are going to have a quiz. So now, even if the students are not interested, at least for the sake of winning the quiz, they will listen carefully. Yeah, you can challenge yourself. And a very, very powerful way of creating interest. This is something which I have used on myself always. Whenever I've learned anything, whether I'm automatically interested or not, I always learn anything from this point of view. Learn it from the point of teaching it. When you learn it from the point of teaching it, you automatically create interest. Because in that, you will not only think about your own curiosity, you will think about what the person whom you are teaching, what kind of questions that person will ask. And you will address it from that point of view as well. Yes, teaching makes learning permanent. But now when you're learning, that time also you think from the point of view of teaching. And you can even make students do that. You don't tell them that you have to learn it to teach, but you tell them that after doing this, there will be a presentation that you have to make on this. Because they have to make a presentation on that, it's like kind of teaching what they've learned, right? So that will also create interest. So wonderful. So these are the 7 effects. And let me ask you a question. Let's take this from a Bollywood perspective. Okay. You know, in the 1970s, 80s, there was a Gisapita formula movies, masala movies. Yeah, the hero father was killed, and hero spends the entire movie duration to take revenge of his father's death. Right? Brothers separating, all these kind of things, and lost and found. Yeah, but this was a typical formula. Hero's father was killed, and hero would spend all his time in uh, figuring out the villain and fighting him and taking revenge. And along with that, there would be a parallel track of a romantic track of the hero and heroine. Quite a few movies went on like that. Now, do you think if such a movie was released today, would it be a hit or would it be a flop? The same Gisapita Masala. It would be a flop, right? We all think it would be a flop. But there was one movie which had the very same masala and it became a super duper hit. No, one South Indian movie. Now I'm talking about right now. Using the formula. Dubbed in various languages. Yes, Bahubali. क्या था उसमें? Hero's father was killed. Hero took revenge. And there was a parallel love angle. It was not even a love triangle. It was a love story going parallel. Same as the old time. Now, why it became a hit? So, ma'am already mentioned that earlier, right? बाहुबली कचप्पा ने बाहुबली को क्यों मारा? It was using basically all these 7 principles: lavish, extravagant sets, imagination, association, 2 parts: primacy, recency, interest, curiosity, meaning, effect of meaning. All of that was there. Right?
Deepti ma'am, please be on mute, please.
Deepti, please mute yourself. Deepti.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so that is what it is. See, the formula, the masala was same, but it worked on all these effects. So this is a mind map of the 7 memory secrets. I'll send this to ma'am so she can share it with you as well. Now you can integrate all of this. The effect of curiosity is something that you put in the recency effect, so they will remember it. Even before taking a break, I do that. Even before giving a break, I open it up. I open the next thing that is going to come up after the break. Logically, what we do? Okay, logical close. Now we'll take a break and then we'll start a new topic later after the break. But before the break, I open it up. Now that ensures that students are back in the room on time because that curiosity is there. I'm going to reveal that answer that I asked before the break. I'm not waiting for students to walk in whenever they want. They are automatically there. Primacy effect, usually I begin with an activity like the way I did right now in this session. So this is the way you do it. Okay, and I'm going to utilize the recency effect from this program to just demonstrate my introduction. So although man introduced me, this is my official intro. This is a mind map of what I have done and what all qualifications or what all experience I have.
Wonderful. So it gives an idea to people to create their CVs in this manner. Becomes easy for the
Yes.
employer also to see everything at one go.
Yeah, yeah. I used to do that when I was in a corporate role. I used to have the standard CV, but along with that, the highlight of my profile was that I used to have the mind map like this. And that really makes it powerful. It stands out. And we all have our own achievements, whatever we have done. We can all put it together in the form of a mind map CV. This uses the power of imagination and association. Okay, so I think I've overshot time by around 3-4 minutes. But that's it from my side. And this is another mind map of where you can stay in touch with me, how you can connect with me. I'm there on my website, w3coach.com. I'm also there on social media. You can reach out to me, follow me, and connect with me.
That's wonderful, sir.
Thank you. And I also conduct a program called Neuro-Linguistic Programming. In fact, that is one of the most powerful tools, especially as educators, teachers, parents, something that is really, really important. So if you're interested in that, do reach out to me. That is a continuous program which I keep conducting. The next batch is happening in November.
That's great.
So,
And I've already asked you to kindly give me a seat in your next workshop, sir. I'm going to
yes,
register.
wonderful.
So I'm
Thank
sure,
you.
I'm very, very sure that everyone has got a lot of takeaways just like I did. I think somebody's mic is on. Please keep yourself on mute, everyone.
Ma'am, may I ask a question?
Yes, please. I was just checking if my phone is on. No, I think somebody's mic is on.
Yeah, this is Greg here.
Yes, Greg,
Greg,
sir,
sir.
please ask.
Yes, ma'am. Namaste, ma'am. Namaste, sir. Sir, I want to ask you a question because when you were talking about when we say that something has already happened, or did I say like this? So will it connect to deja vu effect that we say? Will it be that kind of?
Yeah, yeah, even that is got to do with this. It's the integration of these effects. So it's to do with
Okay, sir. Okay,
imagination,
sir.
association.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Anyone else has any questions? Feel free, please. You can unmute. We can have 2-3 more minutes if you are interested. Sir, with your permission, can we have 2-3 more minutes?
Yes, 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 of course. And thank you for the wonderful comments in the chat box.
This was one of the best, I would say most impactful power-packed session where every single minute was so valuable. There was a lot of learning in every single moment of this workshop, sir. I am attending, I think, probably for the third time, but every time I get equally engrossed and interested. It's all thanks to you, the wonderful concept and the way you teach. So we'll see how we can utilize your expertise for our students' development. And we'll see once the school reopens how we can connect again and take it further for our students' development as well. And I'm sure you would oblige us.
Sure, sure. I would be happy to be there. Yeah.
So friends, I was shocked to know that there is something, I mean, pleasantly shocked that there is something called W3 coach. And sir is the only and the first W3 coach. So that is wealth. Uh, so would you please elaborate?
Yeah. Wealth, wisdom, and wellness.
Wealth, wisdom, and wellness. People are hardly able to deal with any one of these segments, and you are doing it. And I'm so sure that you are doing it so beautifully. We'll see how we can learn those other aspects also from you. So for now, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
I wanted to, before you go, I wanted to let you know that this is 1 hour which we fixed for our understanding of the new national education policy. And I'm sure our teachers were able to connect your session with the pedagogy suggested, like the methods of how to make your lessons more engaging and interesting, because NEP keeps talking about making learning enjoyable, making child capable of learning how to learn. So, teachers can share these strategies with children and teach them how they can learn by themselves. They can use these methods and what they've learned to make classes more enriching, more engaging. And concepts like concept map, the way you have shown. We did a recent presentation also our team had done. They did a fabulous job. So I think this takes a further deeper look into how to make your classes more interesting, attractive, making students remember for a longer duration. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, my friends. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All the best.
Thank you, sir. I would just like to check with Ramnath, sir, if he's here. Sir, would you kindly... No, I think sir left. So, sir, just wanted you to know that one of our trustees was also here, and he was here throughout the session. I'm sure he enjoyed the session equally. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. So, okay, friends, see you tomorrow.